Welcome to Current News. I'm your host, Chris Davis, and today we're going to talk about President Trump's UN speech. So let's get it started. First of all, it was a disaster. It was a disaster. When I was listening to the first 10 minutes, I thought it was okay, but it was a disaster. First off, he started talking about America first. How if the United States makes a deal with other countries, it has to be beneficial to the United States. And other countries should do the same. They should put their own self interest ahead of other countries. They should look out for themselves. So all the countries should look out for their countries first. So that's like the first thing he mentioned. That was bad, but then it gets worse. He calls for the total destruction of North Korea. The Guardian has the video. Let's watch.
North Korea's reckless pursuit of nuclear weapons and ballistic missiles threatens the entire world with unthinkable loss of human life. It is an outrage that some nations would not only trade with such a regime, but would arm, supply, and financially support a country that imperils the world with nuclear conflict. No nation on earth has an interest in seeing this band of criminals arm itself with nuclear weapons and missiles. The United States has great strength and patience, but if it is forced to defend itself or its allies, we will have no choice but to totally destroy North Korea. Rocket Man is on a suicide mission for himself and for his regime. The United States is ready, willing, and able, but hopefully this will not be necessary. That's what the United Nations is all about. That's what the United Nations is for. Let's see how they do.
All right, you just heard him say that he wants the total destruction of North Korea. That's not how the president of the United States should act, especially at the UN, where you're supposed to promote peace and stop human atrocities. You can't necessarily wipe out like North Korea. You could, but doesn't mean you can. Doesn't mean you should. Okay. The scariest thing about Trump is yes, the United States can back it up, but a lot of countries don't want it, especially China, because it's going to cause a refugee crisis. And the reason why they haven't been enforcing so many of the sanctions on North Korea because it would destabilize the country and they would have a refugee crisis. So the speech continues to go on a downward spiral. He says that the U.S. is pulling out of the Iranian nuclear deal. You know, the whole world wouldn't care about us doing that if the agreement was just between Iran and the U.S., but it's not. It's with Iran and a few other countries. So for those of you who don't know about the Iranian nuclear deal, the deal is that Iran will not pursue any nuclear weapons for 15 years in exchange. The other countries who are part of the coalition will remove the financial sanctions put on Iran to make sure Iran keeps its word. There are inspectors to inspect their government and all their facilities. They still have nuclear power, but it's for power. But it's for a nuclear power plant. It's not to make a bomb. The downside to the Iranian nuclear deal is that eventually, and Trump brought it up, eventually they'll be able to make a nuclear weapon. When 15 years is up, they will be able to easily make a nuclear weapon, and that would undermine Israel's power in the region. The Israeli Prime Minister mentioned that he didn't like the Iranian nuclear deal because it didn't completely stop them from making a nuclear weapon. They can't make one now, but down the road, 10 to 15 years, they will be able to. But we shouldn't pull out of the Iranian nuclear deal just like that. We should make some kind of amendment or make some changes. We can't just pull out just like that, just like we did in the Paris Climate Accords. Why would any of the other countries consider making an agreement with us if we're just going to pull out? Like, why would they? Why would they even consider bringing the U.S. into the table if you're just going to just pull out whenever you want to? Trump said something else that was really stupid. There's just no nice way of putting it. He said that socialism and communism are one and the same, and he used Venezuela as the main example. First of all, like, Venezuela has this huge government corruption crisis where the citizens are going through mass starvation. It's terrible in Venezuela. But you can't say socialism and communism are one and the same. They're not. They're vastly different. Socialism, in its simplest form, means that the community controls the means of production and they distribute the end result proportionally. Socialism, democracies have equal rights for everyone. They have a state-run welfare system. They still have capitalism in them, while communism eventually has dictatorship. The government owns all the property, and everyone is even. Everyone gets the same back, even though there's people who work harder than others. Everyone gets the same amount. Which eventually leads to like resentment, like, for other people, because people who are doing more work, they're getting the same as others who don't work as hard. So it's been proven that communism in theory is a good idea, but in practice it's bad. But nonetheless, Donald Trump said socialism and communism are one and the same, and they're not. There's huge differences between them. Main thing what I got from Donald Trump's speech is that he doesn't want to be a part of anyone. He doesn't want to be a part of any deal unless it benefits him. He doesn't want to be a part of anyone else's agenda, but he wants everyone to be a part of his. Fighting terrorism, dealing with Venezuela, Cuba, North Korea, Iran. You want everyone else to help you with that, but you don't want to participate in fighting global warming. You don't want to help with the Iranian nuclear deal. You don't want to do any of that. You just expect everyone to help you with what you want. President Trump's speech has gotten reactions from world leaders. The prime minister of Israel said that it was the most bravest UN speech he has ever heard in 30 years. The Iranian government said that Trump's speech, belongs in medieval times and doesn't belong in the 21st century. The Russian government said that his speech contradicts itself, saying that everyone should look out for their self-interest, but everyone should fight terrorism. So yes, Trump's speech has gotten a very bad reaction from world leaders. Of course, they didn't like it. They didn't like that he called for a total destruction of North Korea. They didn't like him pulling out of the Iranian deal. They certainly didn't like him comparing socialism to communism. They didn't like that either. That's all we have for today. Let me know what you think about this in the comment section below. Did you like President Trump's speech? If you did, why? If you didn't like President Trump's speech, why did you not like it? Let me know in the comment section below. Also, follow me on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, and LinkedIn. And if you like this if you liked this video, please hit the like button and subscribe. And all of you have a great day.